Jennifer Thompson looked her rapist in the eye for hours. She memorized his face. She studied every detail. She identified him in a police lineup with complete certainty. She testified against him in open court. She watched him go to prison for 11 years. Then a DNA test came back. Ronald Cotton had never touched her. Jennifer didn't lie. That's the part your brain doesn't want to accept. She wasn't confused. She wasn't careless or vindictive or mistaken in any ordinary sense. She was absolutely, completely, unshakably certain. And she was wrong in a way that destroyed an innocent man's life for over a decade. Because memory doesn't work the way you think it does. 75% of wrongful convictions overturned by DNA evidence involved eyewitness testimony, people who were certain. In 1992, a NASA researcher asked people where they were when the Challenger exploded. 2.5 years later, their memories had changed significantly. Every single person rated their new version as more accurate than the original. In a controlled lab study, researchers implanted a completely false childhood memory into 70% of adult participants in under 3 sessions. Those participants didn't just accept the fake memory, they defended it passionately against correction. Your memory is not a recording. It never was. It is a reconstruction. A story your brain rewrites every single time you access it. And the more emotional the memory, the more aggressively your brain edits it. Every memory you trust is already corrupted. We imagine memory like a filing cabinet. Something happens. Your brain photographs it, files it, and retrieves the same photograph every time. Clean, stable, accurate. That model is completely wrong. Psychologists have known it since 1932. Frederick Bartlett at Cambridge University took a Native American folk tale and had English participants read it. The story was full of cultural elements they didn't recognize. He asked them to recall it at various intervals over time. Every single time they recalled it, the story changed. Details that didn't fit their existing worldview were quietly deleted. New details that did fit were quietly inserted. Participants had zero awareness this was happening. They believed each new version was exactly what they originally read. Bartlett called it reconstructive memory. Your brain doesn't retrieve memories, it rebuilds them, every time, from whatever materials are currently available to it. Elizabeth Loftus at UC Irvine pushed this further. She showed participants footage of a car accident. One group was asked how fast the cars were going when they hit each other. Another group was asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other. One word difference. The smashed group estimated dramatically higher speeds. A week later, they were significantly more likely to report seeing broken glass in the footage. There was no broken glass. One word introduced after the fact rewrote what they witnessed with their own eyes. Every argument you've had about what someone said, every childhood memory you've defended with your whole chest, every time you were absolutely sure about what happened, this is the mechanism running underneath all of it. Here's where this stops being abstract. Researchers don't just know that memories can be altered. They know that entirely fabricated memories, events that never happened to you at all, are completely indistinguishable from real ones, inside your own mind. Elizabeth Loftus ran a study using real family members. Each participant's family provided 3 true childhood memories. A 4th memory was added by researchers, completely fabricated. A story about the participant getting lost in a shopping mall as a young child, panicking, and being helped by an elderly stranger before being reunited with their family. It never happened, written entirely from scratch. By the end of the study, 29% of participants didn't just accept the false memory, they added to it sounds, emotions, specific physical descriptions of the stranger's face. They built entire sensory experiences around a fiction that had been handed to them 3 weeks earlier. This is why Jennifer Thompson's certainty was real and wrong at the exact same time. She didn't construct a lie. Her brain constructed a memory, felt it as lived truth, and the justice system had no mechanism to tell the difference. But none of this explains the part that should genuinely disturb you, because the false memory problem isn't limited to trauma or crime or courtrooms. There is a mechanism your brain uses daily on the memories you rely on most, and it specifically targets the ones you trust with absolute certainty. In the year 2000, neuroscientists discovered something that rewrote the entire biology of memory. Every single time you recall a memory, any memory at all, your brain physically destabilizes it. The neural connections holding that memory in place become chemically malleable, rewritable. For a window of several hours, that memory is being actively reconstructed before your brain stores it again. The act of remembering is also the act of editing. And here is what no one tells you. The memories you have recalled the most, the ones you have rehearsed and repeated and returned to most often, the ones that feel the most vivid, the most detailed, the most certain, those are the ones that have been rewritten the most times. Your clearest memories are your most corrupted ones. The more you trust a memory, the more times your brain has already changed it. We'll get to exactly how this works in a moment, but first you need to understand what your brain is actually using to rebuild those memories every single time it touches them, because it isn't using the truth. You've heard the phrase flashbulb memory. The idea that emotionally intense moments are burned into your mind with photograph-level precision, where you were on 9/11, the moment you got the call that changed everything, the clearest memory of your life. The feeling of photographic clarity is real, the accuracy underneath it is not. Psychologist William Hurst interviewed over 3,000 people about their memories of September 11th, 1 week after it happened, then at 1 year, then at 3 years, then at 10 years. The memories degraded at the same rate as memories of completely ordinary events. Details changed, locations shifted, people misremembered who they were with, the facts moved. But the subjective confidence those people felt about their 9/11 memories stayed completely elevated across all 10 years. The accuracy dropped steadily, the certainty never moved. Emotion had locked the confidence permanently in place, while quietly allowing the facts underneath to drift entirely. This is the real explanation for what people call the Mandela Effect. Thousands of people who vividly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, millions who are certain the Monopoly man wears a monocle, people who would stake their credibility on Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." He never said it. The line is, "No, I am your father." These aren't glitches in reality. They are demonstrations of how systematically your brain fills gaps with plausible reconstruction, and then brands them with the emotional certainty of lived experience. Now apply this to your own life, the memory of why a relationship ended, who said what in the fight that changed everything, whether you were treated fairly in a situation that still makes you angry, whether your childhood actually happened the way you carry it. Your brain reconstructed every one of those memories using your current emotions, your current beliefs, and your current need to maintain a coherent story about who you are. You didn't access the truth. You built a version that made sense right now. Your brain reconstructed every one of those memories using your current emotions, your current beliefs, and your current need to maintain a coherent story about who you are. You didn't access the truth. You built a version that made sense right now. The mechanism I mentioned, the one from 2000. It's called memory reconsolidation. When you retrieve a memory, your brain releases a protein that physically weakens the neural connections holding that memory together. For roughly 4 to 6 hours, those connections are unstable, open to rewriting. Neuroscientists call this state labile. Then your brain rebuilds the memory, incorporating whatever information is currently present, your emotional state right now, new framing introduced by whoever you just spoke to, details you've recently encountered that fit the shape of the story. Then it reconsolidates, stores it again, with the same feeling of authenticity as the original. You didn't retrieve that memory. You rebuilt it, and the rebuild used materials from the present, not just the past. The memory you've recalled the most, the one you've told the most, thought about the most, returned to the most in quiet moments, has been through reconsolidation more times than any other, has absorbed the most outside influence, has drifted the furthest from what actually happened. The story you've told about yourself your whole life is the one your brain has edited the most aggressively. Your identity is built on the memories you trust most, and those are the ones that have been rewritten the most times. So what do you actually do with this? 3 things. They will feel wrong. That discomfort is not a reason to stop. It's confirmation that they're working against the system your brain has already built. First, right before you talk, the reconsolidation window opens the moment you recall a memory. Every person you tell it to introduces new material before it reconsolidates. Write important memories down before you discuss them. Private, unedited, raw detail only. You are capturing the memory before the social reconstruction cycle begins contaminating it. Second, track the source. When a memory surfaces, ask one specific question. Do I actually remember this, or do I remember being told about it, seeing a photograph of it, or imagining how it might have felt? Research shows the primary engine of false memory confidence is source confusion. Memories built from stories feel identical to memories built from experience. Separating the source breaks the certainty that doesn't belong there. Third, treat emotional certainty as a warning. The stronger the emotional charge on a memory, the higher your confidence, and the higher the statistical probability of significant distortion. Vivid, emotionally charged memories deserve the same structured skepticism a detective applies to a witness who is absolutely certain. Don't dismiss them. Verify them. Cross-reference with people who were present. Look for anything documented at the time. Confidence is not evidence of accuracy. Jennifer Thompson eventually met Ronald Cotton face to face. After the DNA result, after 11 years, she expected him to be destroyed by rage. He told her he forgave her. She later wrote, "I was so sure. I have never been so sure of anything in my life, and I was completely wrong." She wasn't weak, she wasn't careless, she was human. Her brain did exactly what all of our brains do. It built a story, locked it behind the feeling of certainty, then protected that story against every piece of incoming evidence that threatened it. The question isn't whether your brain is doing this to you right now. It is. The question is,